Miriam? Merle, help mich euch, so hat gar nicht geschah. Ich suche dir meine liebe Tochter. Halt, was ich hab getan, ist gewähnt mal für dir. Allow me in and I will explain. Open the door, Miriam. Today, every second counts. Miriam. You don't know who you are! There's no way you could. I'm your tate, yet you don't know me either. There is more to Motke, I tell you. More to this tired, penniless Jew. Of course, it never occurred to you that there is more to know. The time has come for you to know the truth. Medele, come. Don't be stubborn. We've got no time to waste, not today. Come, sit with your tate by the fire. This old shack. Every morning I pray that it stays standing in one piece. Do you remember the time before we moved to live here? I guess not. Can't blame you, you weren't even 3. You wore this little white dress and had the most beautiful punim. The whole shtetl spoke of it. And you had more than 20 pairs of shoes for every season and of every color. You never had a chance to wear them all. You were growing up so quickly. So instead you played with them. Can you imagine? Like toys. Yeah. Your mother never held back. She always had to say her piece. Hoeveel meinst du hat sie gehabt? Was meinst du? Mir aufgehoben a 40 Fissel? 23 pairs, even before you learn to walk. When I was young, much younger than you, I had only one pair of old decaying shoes. We took turns wearing them, me and my little brother. Most of the time I was walking around barefoot. Why? Because he was Klein Yingel and I always wore it. In the winter that he'd get sick, and in the summer that he'd get a splinter. And without shoes in the cold, I had to stay at home. And that was my time to practice the violin. I fell in love with music, with a miraculous passion. But even then I'd known I'd be a shoemaker. Du hörst mich, Mirele. Dein Tate ist gewesen a Schister. Huna Meister noch dazu. People came from Warschau and Lodz just for a feeding. They called me Motke, der Meisterschister. Aaron, my brother. Your uncle Schäferle. He grew up and started working at my shop. I taught him everything about buckles, boots, heels, ways. I was so proud when our clients praised his binding technique, when they came back again and again and again for him. Was I jealous? Offended? My God, how could I be? I was the proudest brother you'd find. And in the evenings I played. All the neighbors wouldn't sleep because of my violin, but you, Miriam, couldn't sleep without it. Do you remember that, Kitzele? Mendelssohn's Concerto, your mother's favorite. And at one point, Aaron, my brother, whom aside from you I loved more than anyone in this world, began to gain the confidence of my clients. And as it turned out, My deep trust in him made him deeply untrustworthy. I don't know what he said to them, but when I greeted my clients on the streets, they turned their backs. So Aaron started to believe that my shop was his, like some liar who begins to believe his own lie. Then, 12 years ago, I returned to my shop to find that Aaron had pushed me out. He was plotting his betrayal for a while. It always bothered him that I was more focused on my violin than on the heels and the boots. But at that time, music was the only way to cope with your mother's passing. He betrayed me right after Rosh Hashanah. I guess he couldn't, in the eye of God, betray me on a holiday. But before Yom Kippur, it was the perfect time of year to see God's atonement. Azochenway, he's a pious man. Aaron. Merle, weißt du, warum Shloimeh Amelech is gaven azan min chachemes? No? Because he had more than 700 wives and listened to all of their advice. Me at that point, I was a widower. Your mother, Igor Shamuilov, had left us in divorce of times. So what did I do? What does anyone here do when they encounter tzures? I went to the rabbi, and he said, Aida guter, rechtfertiger kann man upschatzen. Leut seine Voranenkein in sein Mishpuche. Und wie soll reagiert, wenn es verdrostem Heppes? With you, my dear, there was no point in question. You don't remember this, but soon after we were forced to move into this little shack. Just the three of us. Me, you, and the violin. My dear, you were a little angel that kept me going. You smiled with its strength that you must have gotten from heaven. Your smile lifted my spirits against whatever came our way. Amen. The Talmud tells That joy demolishes and pulverizes every supernal wall and barrier. So instead of seeking revenge, I found my joy in teaching you to play. And as your teacher, I had given you an education better than any girl in this shtetl had ever received. I taught you music and Torah. After all, if you don't speak to your children about God, you'll spend your whole life talking to God about your children. And for over a decade, I stood in the marketplace under the burning sun and in the freezing winds, and I played. I always took care of our violin, and in return, it always took care of us. But I made vow to God and to your mother that I would care for you. I couldn't watch you go hungry any longer. So this morning I had to sell the violin. Yes. It will give the two of us enough to leave this place. Start you. I have a tante in Tarnov. She's an excellent matchmaker. And with a beastly of good mazel, she'll find you a good shidduch. Do you hear this? Are you listening, Miriam? That's my brother, Aaron. Your uncle. Your flesh and blood. I brought him here to pay for all that he engendered. Your hunger, our pain, my desperation. You know what else the rabbi said to me? Jeder Mensch ist nicht verbeitig. Like music. Just as a composer arranges each note on a staff. Take away a single sound and the entire composition is affected. Every person is irreplaceable. Even if he stands behind you with a knife. We are living merely. And my brother, he lived, but forever be prisoner to his conscience. And our shack will continue to stand and hunt him by each time he passes by. Pack your things, Kitzele. A new life awaits us. Motke del Meisterschister still has much to offer. Please, open the door. Our train departs very soon. Du hast das, Mirale?